Hey YouTube, 4X Alchemist here, and I'm going to be playing a long-form game. After doing the Hissho a little bit, I got excited by the idea of doing one city challenges, or one system challenges, which was one of my most played ways. Probably I spent the most time on Civilization 6, winning in every different mode on one city challenge. And so I think that trying a couple of the factions on one city challenge in Endless Space would be fun. I think the Hissho are most built for it, but I think the Vodiani can do it too. I remember back when I played a lot, there was an exploit that allowed them to win a science victory on like turn 40. But that was because of the math of one of the Vodiani hero abilities, which is why we've never, in the old videos, my brother and I were never allowed to use the Vodiani heroes. So I think of the two, I have more practice with the Hissho right now. So since I've decided to start recording a little bit of this with the intention of posting it online, we're going to do Hissho first. And so I've just got 10 players, me plus 9, in an endless difficulty game on a random galaxy shape, all just as normal. And we're going to just go with whatever start that we get. The Hissho are much, much better. Or the one city challenges are always much, much easier if you have a good system to start with. And so the two things that make a really good system are having some early occupiable planets, some high industry, and then also a huge planets that can be terraformed later. So those are the two things I'll be looking out for, and we'll see. Oh. Hold on. Okay, so I started right next to that Saika Goja system, which I think is a really important one for like how the game, or for the quests in the game. And then my main system, Steppes, Savannah, Ice, along with my jungle. All of the medium, which is kind of a bummer, but one Steppes and one Savannah, that could definitely be way worse. Since we're playing one city challenge, we're not going to be colonizing this. And yeah, we're just going to try to start from here. Let's look at our galaxy. We've got a donut, and we're right on the outside here, so that's not too surprising. So I guess let's get started. Some of the things that we should do as ground rules first is like, what are the rules for one city challenge? So rules for one city challenge are you can't build anything in a can't build or produce anything in a second colony. So every time I capture a system, it will have to be raising it, or there's another option for the Hissho where you subjugate them. I can't assimilate or even start any quests to assimilate any of the minor factions. And I can plunk down outposts. I would even be allowed to turn those outposts into colonies, but only immediately evacuate it. Only to immediately evacuate it. Likewise, there is one quest where I have to invade and occupy a system in order to move past it. I do allow myself to invade and occupy that one system, not build anything on that system, and then as soon as I am able to, evacuate the system. So those are just a couple of the ground rules that we'll get to as we go through this. So I guess let's get started. The idea here is just like when we've done other recorded videos before, I'll try to like do these in chunks. And we'll see how far we get and how well we're doing. I've played 2 of these games so far. The first one I actually felt like I didn't move fast enough and was about even to behind with the computers at about turn 80. And then the other one I was substantially ahead and won by a science victory at turn 105 or thereabouts. So my goal will be to win before turn 100. Likely we will try to go for a science victory because you can't really do supremacy. The only other way of winning, I've turned economic victory off. You can't build enough wonders because you only have one system. And so the only other way of winning would be to destroy every single enemy system on the map, which is not easy. And just like literally be last person standing out of 10 players. So I suspect that science victory will be faster. So let's start out by getting our hero onto our ship. We're going to poke into the savannah. We have no luxury resources. And there we go, some transvine. Transvine's a good one to have for the Hissho. So, but in general, not having any titanium or hyperium on our own planet is a bummer, let's say, to put it mildly. Then we're gonna go here, check out that one, and we've got a brood ship. So this is our colonizer, but our colonizer, we don't need it to do anything but explore star lanes. So we're gonna give it 12 movement, upgrade it for 30. Right here, and then it's going to go explore for us. Okay, well, got another dead end with a curiosity. What type of curiosity is it? It's 2 ruins and an atmospheric. We may want that atmospheric for later. So now we bring this little puppy back. Our peregrine is out of moves because we used 2 probes to send this one that way. If I had sent it that way, I probably would have seen the system, so oh well. And then for our boy here, we need some movement speed, but also we want to do some probes because that's the main way that he's going to get experience right now. And we're going to pull off a couple of these things because it's unlikely we're going to be fighting. So we'll go up to, that's only 5 movement, and some probes, but so be it. And we have a little bit of cash left over. We'll probably send him up here and grab those 2 curiosities for a bit of XP. But let's see how we want to do it. He's got, no, I think we're going to send him out this way because he's too slow to justify, going up, waiting for the 2 turns, coming back. That's just not smart. Then when we get to our system, we start with a jungle, fertile and hot. Savanna and steppes are temperate, although they're not fertile. So that means we're going to be in a really good, pretty good spot for our xeno-industrials, which will give 20 from the jungle, savanna, and steppes, so 60 plus 10 from the ice. So plus 70 industry. The science one, public privates, will give 70 science, but we want to start with these 3 things. I'm going to build drone networks first to just get a little bit of extra food and industry fast. Then we'll build xeno-industrials second, because until we colonize these guys, this is only giving 20, so I would rather have the 10 and 10 building twice as fast. The, gains out versus industry in ratio is just better at the beginning. So let's look at this, the events here. So that's our hero, Kokeba. So Saika Goja was a major center for the Endless, medical research and entertainment. It was here that the avian race called the Hissho were first modified to be more effective warriors and trained to provide blood sport spectacles for bored audiences. The wealth brought by the broadcast was rolled back into the research facilities and some of the Hissho themselves. Who knows how long this media symbiosis might have gone on, had a virtual attack not destroyed the infrastructure and cut the Hissho free to forge their own destiny. Oh, I'm never a big one on the lore, but I wanted to kind of do it as long as we're going to do a longer playthrough. And so that's kind of cool. I think that this system is highly involved in our core quest. So that's neat. So, arenas ran red upon green Saika Goja. Blood fertilizes. This is the planet where much of the Hissho history was shaped, that was developed as an enormous media center for the galaxy-wide transmission of entertainment. Once the concrete civilization fell into decadence, Saika Goja became famous primarily for its blood sports. Greatest and most profitable arena battles were the arena battles of the Hissho, for they were a warrior culture that adapted eagerly to the challenges of blood and honor concocted by the Endless. In return, they received infrastructure development, education, and fame. Today, the arenas are overgrown. The great complexes house looters and scavengers. Is it with sadness, pride, or anger that the Hissho gaze once again on these vast complexes? So, we can do sadness, pride, or anger. And as we look at these, anger is by far the best for us right now, because we're not going to be fighting many space battles, and getting plus 25 on our empire is way better than 10 on our systems, since we only have one system. So that's actually a really nice boost for our first 10 turns. So we don't have a good colonizer planet, but that's, this is a nice secondary. So we have two good options here. We can either go for the machine bacteria to get steps, or for baryonic shielding to get Savannah as our first one, or we can even go for the xenobiology first, which would be 3 turns. So there are a few different options that we have. Let's talk about them. Let's first investigate. So steps is 4253 for its fits, and 4352 for Savannah. So they're very close. The Savannah has the Transvine, which doesn't give us any benefits. Is that real? How about that? It doesn't give us any benefits, so I think we're probably going to start with the machine bacteria so that we can upgrade our probes. We don't have any titanium or hyperium yet, but we will. However, the first thing we want to do is get ourselves close to off-world agribusiness, because being able to talk to the minor civs will still be beneficial. We want to start, laddering up from those guys to get some extra dust and science when we can. And we will try to do these other things to tact, which is a concept I've talked a lot about in this game. Basically, you want to unlock the technologies right when you're ready to use them, but it's not beneficial to do it before. So agribusiness is the thing that we don't know how soon we will want or need it, which is why it makes sense to start getting it early, because we're definitely not going to be building public privates or the Steppes or Savannah in the next 3 turns. We're going to want to colonize. The order here is we're going to want to colonize right after building the xeno-industrial infrastructure. to jump it from 20 to 40 to 60, and then build public privates somewhere in there. So with all of that, let us jump forward, and then we'll talk a little bit about the strategy for how we're going to play this game in a second. So, warriors from a culture of blood sacrifice, Hissho must rewrite their past as slaves and gladiators into a glorious future. Discovered the Behemoth technology, reactivated by a sword, and their destiny will be written in battle. So these are our behemoths. We'll talk about those in a bit. Excuse me. And yeah. Alright, so let's just move to the next turn. No, wait, I'm not ready. I almost forgot. Laws. The laws for the Hissho are critically important because of hatched at home, -1k per turn, and plus 25% Fidzy, which is massive. You can see we jump immediately up. We're going to get off-world agribusiness in 2 turns. Very saucy indeed. Okay. And it's... oh, nice. It's Transvine is the keyed resource this time for Hissho, which means we can use 2 Transvine here as well that we discovered and jump each of our Hissho up to making 2 industry. So little benefits. We actually jumped from 9 turns to 7 turns on our Xeno-Industrial. So that's all pretty good. Let's move ahead and talk about the next thing. Oh wow, quite a trek it looks like. So we're going to move our warrior, our hero forward first. Oh my gosh. We are not close to anything. And it doesn't look like we have any clouds in our immediate environment, which kind of sucks as well. Alright, well, let's send our little brood ship through. There we go. It's got some titanium. It's got some more Transvine. And it's got 4 curiosities. So that will get our hero to level 2 nicely by exploring some of those. And hopefully we can find some Hyperium or some additional titanium along the way. 2 titanium would be really useful right now so that we could start our way of the Obsidian Edge, which gives us an extra 25% industry. Starting with titanium is a huge buff or being able to discover it early here. So it's too bad that that's titanium is already there. Otherwise, we would try to uncover it. It would almost be worth it for us to move our super slow behemoth out there. But you can see it would be 4 turns there and 4 turns back. And this behemoth has a module attached to it right now called Grants Bureau, which give 10 FIDs. So that would be giving up a total of 80 FIDs on our home planet in this very critical time. So I usually opt not to do that, just to get titanium, because those 80 FIDs are going to be less likely than us just being able to find 2 titanium somewhere. So we'll put him into defense mode. And so let's talk a little bit about how we are planning to win the game, since I'm on the behemoths anyway. So these behemoths, they have this ability called Mining Probe, and for all of the other factions, the mining probes just give deposit values, and for the Hissho, they have a different benefit where they get planet stats multipliers from their mining probes. So for every probe that is down on a system, every single population at the home system receives subset benefit. So here you can see we're getting 0.6, 0.5, 0.8, 0.3 from our mining probe, and that means for our three members of Uchi, they're actually getting an additional total of 1.8, 1.5, 2.4, and 0.9 FIDs from that mining probe. And that doesn't sound so good right now, but when you have a giant population at the home planet, when it gets towards 30 or so, and you start getting an enormous number of probes, and probes that do a better job. So you can see from here, there's a probe in this Behemoth technology called Deep Miner 2 that gives you 50% of the planet's stats. And this is where most of the FIDs for our one system are going to come from. Having economic behemoths going around and planting probes in unoccupied systems and then defending those systems. Then we have to defend those systems from being colonized so we can continue to mine FIDs from them. In order to do this properly, we have to first complete a quest to allow us to unlock the behemoths. Over here, we can't do this until the Words in Private quest is done, which is a group quest where you have to research military technologies. And so if you guys watched the Hissho guide that I put together, you usually don't even get to that in the first 30 turns. So one of the reasons I decided to play a little bit longer is that I think the Hissho overall gameplay style really heats up and gets fun after that 30 turn level. So last thing, I think most of you guys probably know how K works. This is like honor, it replaces approval. And and so we'll be using this fairly regularly throughout the game, trying to keep it as high as possible, because as you should know, the higher it is, the more you get obedience bonuses. So that's bonuses to dust and science on the Empire, as well as bonuses to food and influence on, on the system. So let us move on ahead. We're going to try to play a little bit more rapidly. I just wanted to spend some time setting up how we're going to play this game and what the strategy is going to be here. So we've got our agribusiness. Now we're moving to xenobiology here. Let's see if we're on track. So 5 turns to xeno-industrial. It may even end up being 4. And 4 turns to machine bacteria. So this dictates for me how I want to do this. I'm going to do 3 turns to get the baryonic shielding first, so that we can be ready with colonizing our steppes right after the xeno-industrials are done. And then we'll go into our public privates, and then the final thing. Again, just why I'm doing that, this little link means that the machine bacteria is cheaper if you already have xenobiology. So the fact that I'm going to get one of these 2 first makes more sense to grab this one, where it's already cheaper because I have rare earth forms. And then if I want one first, I'll get this, go back, and then forward again to minimize the amount of science that I need. All right, so now let's merge these guys together. We've got 2 probes. Let's see if we can get some Hyperium, Aurora waves, and influence. Okay. Oh, a population. Epistus, 5 on sterile, and 1 industry. Well, I don't think we have any steriles. Oh, we do, the ice. That's right. So that may actually be beneficial to us for a while. So, hoorah. And I'm curious. So, probe 02. Oh, that's right. we have to look here. So 2 turns for that guy to make another probe. 1 turn for our hero to make another probe. So we'll just lump that together and have our brood ship charge forward. All right. Ocean with an unknown. So there's a reasonable likelihood that this could be a titanium, which would be excellent. And we're going to explore straight up. Because why not with the old bird ship? So that means that we're probably going to leave a couple of those curiosities alone and just come down here with our old hero. It's not quite level 2 yet. We may also use some K to boost movement speed next turn, but let's see. Okay. And for you guys who don't know, K is going down every turn because of the hatched at home. That's the law that we passed, but it goes up regularly because whenever you find a new planet, let's see, for our new system, we saw it go from 76 to 77 there. And then we have, a tundra with an atmospheric and a life form. Okay. Interesting. Well, moving and grooving over here. Now, this one has 2 or 3. Yeah. I want to maximize the amount of experience on our hero. I've got 2 atmospherics there, though. Okay. We'll go down here then. Cool. No hurry. Turn 4. Moving ahead, okay. The fact that we have no titanium still is a pain in the ass. So here, start of our solo quest. In spring, we yearn for the simplicity of war. Gardening is hard. And yeah, okay, I guess we're going to read it all. We're going to do the whole thing, just for the main quests. The Emperor himself wrote this poetry in a classical form. It is good that he maintained some traditions, for the Hissho have been changing radically. New sciences, new organizations, new codes, new laws. I fear that we are forgetting our own history and values. There are even the Reformers, a group dedicated to adopting new galactic ways and consigning the old ways to museums. Many Hissho listen to them, but not I. My name is Tizio Blackridge, a teacher of military history and martial arts in the Redbone Islands of the Itazeka Sea. I will soon be rotating back to active duty after several years as an instructor, and I have been preparing for my next posting for years. I grew up on the tales of the Blood Sisters. I read their legends, studied their texts, practiced their martial arts. They are a memory of a time when the Hissho stood united against all, when the sanctity of the nest was everything, when courage and honor were things that existed in daily life, not in stories. I will see the temples of the Blood Sisters reinstated, their feats of arms studied, their stoic and tenacious ways imitated with pride, or I will die trying. Either outcome is acceptable. I am no gardener. Well, that makes sense for us. And so we have either strength or faith to pursue here. Faith requires an assimilation, which is barred from us. And so we're going to do strength, and we've even got a nice cheesy tactic to get this one done quickly. We must first prove that we are worthy to speak of the Blood Sisters and tell their stories. Build ships that will serve to defend the Hissho as they once did. So we're going to go for that. Okay. brood ship takes off, finds Electra, Mediterranean, with more atmospherics. Wow, this is a lot of atmospherics. Alright, you've got exactly 0. We're here with 3 probes for our 2. Hyperion, bummer. Alright, and then you probably will just want to go for the desert there. Debating whether we actually want to go up to the tundra. If there's a chance of getting titanium there, it's probably worth it. Influence, nothing else is too bad. So this one was the Mediterranean atmospheric. Yeah, we're going to go out there, and now it's going to be time to use our added movement speed. So that's going to take 3. Okay. Doesn't get us there much faster, does it? But so be it. So our mining ended. That's this piece. And it will take 1 extra turn to do this. Last thing to mention is that the duration of the mining probes is weird. It's the actual duration listed here, so 4 in this case, multiplied by the number of mining probe modules on the Behemoth that planted it. So if we had 4, let's say, mining probes of this side, of this type, they would each last 16 turns. Which, yeah, is interesting, let's say. All right, blade level 2. We're going to go for this one. 10 food per planet and 5 industry. It's the best starting one for him. And we move ahead. Baryonic shielding, check. Xenobiology, up next. Oh, we have unlocked the ability to check out this subterranean curiosity. It might be nice if we have some of the better of the better strategics there, right? Like an adamantium or an antimatter would be fairly saucy. All right, finally we have some Gehasht, who are warmongers, hard hitters, so I guess that doesn't matter. And we can hire mercenaries from these guys with dark glitter, but for now, how much do we have? We'll probably just do a 2 on those guys, and then they have some curiosities that we could potentially explore. Okay. We're really in a little corner of the world over here, aren't we? And so now we have to choose which one we want, 0.4, 0.6.4, or we can go for a little bit heavier science by probing the ice planet, but I think we're just going to do more Savannah. Since we're building the colony on the steppes. Oh no, we're building the colony on the Savannah. Well, I screwed that up. Luckily, it's going to be about the same number of turns, so we won't lose too much mining time. But my mistake there. All right, and then as we continue to explore, we're going to go to the outside of the ring. New population. Hoorah. And we end the turn. So 74 is still loyal, but wouldn't mind moving that up a little bit higher. Oh, that's right. We've got hacking now. I'm not a particularly big fan of the hacking mechanic. You just click on yourself, click on the closest thing, and then we use our bandwidth to encrypt ourselves, and we have a piggyback thing that we can put on their system. Okay. Cool. And we move ahead. New luxury resource, Gossamer. Oh, that's because that's what the new dudes that I got like. I expect. Man, we're in a desolate part of the world out here. There should be plenty of pirates for us to play with, though. Microfactories and experience, hostile fauna, and oh boy, hostile fauna and some science. So still no titanium, which is a hit for us right now. That is for sure. You know, we could consider moving a bit harder with these guys, but yeah, now that we're at 87 and gaining, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. We don't have much use for influence since it doesn't cost anything for us to declare war. We're not going to do any special diplomatic actions. So I'm a big fan of just using it while we got it. And then we're going to be scouting these curiosities for those guys as well. So you want to charm them before using the influence. Or sorry, charm them before exploring the curiosities. And so here we go again. So xenobiology gets us the public privates. It'll get us faster machine bacteria for our next colonizable system. And you can see as far as the tact of this goes, we're going to be doing colony. And we can start on our public privates, but then we may even, and then finish that to get our 40 extra science, and then immediately move into the steps to get an additional 20 science and 20 industry. Then we'll finally finish up cerebral reality and kind of have our baseline systems ready to go. Okay. That was exactly 12. You only have one probe right now. We're gonna put it, yeah, I guess we'll put it in the ruins over here on this snow planet. Positron beam. Not a huge fan of beams. Okay. Yeah, just not in love with any of this right now, I must say. You know, one of the things that we could do that I don't dislike here is that because we can put down outposts, this is actually something I should have thought about. Because we can put down outposts, we can plop a brood ship to get this titanium for a few turns. But it slows our overall growth. So we'll think about doing that in a little bit if we're still titanium starved. But there's also, in some ways, an easier way of getting titanium, which is to buy it, because we have fairly strong economy. So, technology, researching techs in the military quadrant is our next mission there. We're going to keep exploring at the angles. Wow. Right. We'll just get all these star lanes explored. Turn 9 is when our hero can return to base. And so this is fairly well planned, that we've basically used all of the probes almost perfectly. Got more influence. Found some transvine. Oh! Well, I didn't look at that one before. That's fairly nice. So there was a 10 curiosities deed here, which gives us 5k for finishing the quest and 80 or 75 Hyperion. You know, too bad it's not titanium, the one that we actually wanted, but still, definitely not going to look a gift horse in the mouth on that one. And we level up to level 3 perfectly at level 9, which is the first turn that we can put our Senator Kogewa back onto his system, where he is now adding substantially more food. Right, you can see 20 extra from forced labor and an additional 10 industry. So, not bad. And that Hyperion will also help us with upgrading our probes, our scout ships, to get the Hyperion probes, which are my favorite there. So let's move ahead. Turn 10, and then I guess we'll probably take a break before this one and the next video. So now we can retrofit on their system, which is nice. The ELO are there. Also, hurrah. I don't think there's anything really to do. I'm just an obsessive maniac. We encountered some new stuff. Alright, got a dead end. Let's take a look. Life form and signal. Those are probably good ones to explore. And then we're gonna keep wiggling down at the angle, I guess. All right. I guess we can do one more turn. Oh yeah, turn 11 when our friends the pirates appear. So we've got our machine bacteria. Hissho boost comes to an end. We restart it right away because why not? Get a little bit of extra industry and manpower. And then we're going to colonize our steps. You can see we're starting to get pretty good on the industry production. It's turn 11 and we're at 163, but also now 110 food. 46 science plus that extra from discovering Skioja, which is probably done now. Yes, okay. But that was a very nice little boost at the beginning of the game, for sure. And then what we're gonna do before I guess we'll do that at the start of the next turn, is prepare ourselves for winning the quest.
The Empire welcomes all.
Oh, okay. Oh, selected on the wrong ship. We'll stay at the bottom for now. See where we get to. Oh. Well, I see. So we're gonna scan once. Definitely always do the signals first because they can be population. or nothing. Nothing is also an option of what they can be. And then we will save the game here. Yes, found the Empire. Check.
Lead welcome.
Diplomatic message. Luxury resource, Red Sang. Okay. We'll come back in the next video to pick up where we left off, but this is an interesting and not very powerful start, so hopefully it will be competitive. I guess I'll just stop the recording now.